Welcome, brothers and sisters, to another segment of Moments with the Master. My name is Brother Renthien Pickney, and today I want to talk to you about how we as Christians shouldn't allow our physical eyes to dictate what we spiritually see. How we as Christians shouldn't allow our physical eyes to dictate what we spiritually see. Now, the text I'm going to use to emphasize this point is found in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 1 through 9. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 1 through 9. And in this particular text, and this is a text that you will hear preachers use many times during funeral services. But in this particular text, Paul talks about how this body that we have, if it's destroyed, that we have another body and an eternal dwelling made by God and that's imperishable and not made by human hands. And then he talks about in verses 3 through 4 how the Holy Spirit, which God has given us as a deposit, how the Holy Spirit groans and feels naked and is burdened because the Holy Spirit wants to be clothed in the eternal body that God has for us. And then he goes on in verse 9 to help us to understand as Christians that we need to make pleasing God our main goal in life. And if you look back at verse 7, he talks about that until all this happens, we need to be able to walk by faith and not by sight. There's a few things that we can learn from this text. Number one is that our ultimate goal as Christians is to please God and to one day call heaven home. Our ultimate goal as Christians should be to please God and to one day call heaven home. Now, what happens often is that we forget this because we get caught up in the demands of life and the everyday responsibilities that we have. And it causes us to forget that the main goal that we should have in our life should be to please God and to one day call heaven home. Our main goal isn't to make all the money we can or to buy up all the stuff we want. Now, there's nothing wrong with having money and having nice things. But this shouldn't be the ultimate focus of our life. That shouldn't be the ultimate goal of our life. Because when you make that the ultimate goal of your life, you end up taking the focus off of God and placing it on stuff. Now, the second thing that we can learn from this text is that we have to be willing or able to look past what we physically see. We have to be able to look past what we physically see. In verse 7, Paul talks about how we walk by faith and not by sight. Every day we see things happen around us, and sometimes it can cause us to get discouraged and feel as if life is getting the best of us. But when you walk by faith and not by sight, you're able to look past the four walls of your home. You're able to look past the difficulties of your situation. You're able to look past the limitation of your eyes and see that God has something wonderful awaiting you. You are able to look out with your spiritual eyes through faith and see that God has a wonderful purpose for your life. Paul talks about it in Romans chapter 8 and verses 28 when he says that all things work together for the good of those that know and love the Lord. Now, we may not be able to see how it's all going to work out, but in the end, through faith, we know that in the end, God is going to work it out for our good. So I just want to encourage you today to remember that our ultimate goal as Christians should be to please God and to one day call heaven home, and to be able to look past. In order to do that, we have to be able to look past what we physically see and understand that God has a wonderful purpose for our life. Thank you again for joining us for another segment of Moments with the Master. Until next time, may God keep you and bless you.